Hello everyone, my name is Arya and welcome to the video. For most players, the AI monsters that you run into during a Hunt Showdown match are kind of just an afterthought. They're to give you something to fight while out of PvP and running between compounds grabbing clues. But the AI in this game actually has some really neat interactions, and that's what I aim to showcase in this video with 10 things that you may not have known about Hunt Showdown's monster menagerie. I'll give at least one fun fact about every monster in Hunt, but this will not include boss or wild targets such as Scrapbeak or the Hellborn, as those are so complex that they could be their own video entirely. Speaking of, if you want to see more videos like this about other aspects of Hunt, let me know with a like and a comment, and while you're down there, why not drop any other fun facts about Hunt's AI that I might have missed. But with that out of the way, let's get right into this list. Starting off with the humble Grunt, these guys are everywhere and you're never not going to run into one during a match. They also have the most variation out of all of the AI, not only visually depending on their location, but also because they're able to cause many annoying status effects such as bleeding or burning due to their health cleavers and lanterns. While usually never a real threat given how easy they are to dispatch, one Grunt actually has the sneaky ability to instantly down a full health hunter. The Torch Grunt is, as you would imagine, a Grunt carrying a torch that they will drop upon death. This may not seem like a big deal, but if they drop it next to a red barrel, well... This also applies to oil puddles on the ground as well as yellow barrels too, so next time you see a Torch Grunt near one of these things, remember this tip and lure them to a safer place before taking them out. Grunts will also drop their held item if they take damage to their arms while still alive, which leads me to my next tip being that Grunts can be debilitated depending on where you hit them. As mentioned, if you hit them in the arms, they'll drop whatever item they're holding, but what's even more useful is that you can slow down Grunts permanently by hitting them in their legs. This will reduce their speed from a sprint to a slow limp, and while just taking them out with a headshot is usually better as they can be taken out in a single swing, this mechanic also works on armoreds too. So if you need some time to regen some stamina and you're being chased by an angry armored or a horde of Grunts, a leg shot can turn them into much less of a threat. Speaking of armoreds, while not an overly useful fact, did you know that if you look on the back of a Concertina armored, you can actually see a Concertina bomb embedded in their back? This extra bit of armor, while probably painful, does make them slightly tankier than normal armoreds, usually requiring an extra melee swing to take them out. But that extra health doesn't save them from their biggest weakness being fire, or funnily enough, the very thing that gives them their extra resilience, Concertina bombs. Fire isn't just effective at killing armoreds though, as every monster in the game, aside from Emulators of course, are very vulnerable to fire, meaning that a lantern can take out a massive group of AI with little to no effort. This is most effective against one of Hunt's most infamous creatures, Hellhounds. Since Hellhounds always spawn in groups and have a nasty habit of dodging your melee swings, making them particularly deadly, chucking a lantern in front of you while being attacked can act as some great dog repellent. But even worse than a regular Hellhound is the Helmet Hellhound. These nasties are immune to all damage done to their head and can very easily waste stamina, throwing tools, and ammo. This is especially annoying if you're using a melee weapon like a knuckle knife or the dusters, as those can only kill a Hellhound with a single hit to the head. But did you know that their heads aren't invulnerable? There's actually a small opening where their mouth is that allows for headshot damage to be dealt. Shooting it is the best way to exploit this, as since it's at an awkward angle, melee weapons usually have a pretty tough time hitting that weak spot consistently. Another annoying AI in Hunt is the Hive. I don't know about you, but there is nothing more annoying than having a Hive sitting up on a hard-to-reach balcony, sending wave after wave of bees after you and screaming the entire time. Most people know that if a Hive swarm is on you, you can melee it to get rid of it. High damage slashing and blunt weapons like the bomb lance or trauma variants clear the swarms fastest, and piercing weapons like bayonets and the throwing spear take quite a while to take one out. But did you know that a certain tool can actually take out hive swarms instantly? The flare gun is amazing for burning down hunters, but if you shoot it through a hive swarm, it will set it on fire and it will disappear shortly after. You will still have to deal with the actual hive herself, so this is a pretty temporary solution, but it also works on swarms created from hive bombs too, meaning that if someone chucks a jar of bees at you, you can simply just say, no thank you. This also works with star shell ammo as well as fusies too, but oddly enough, not dragon's breath. Switching over to something a little bit spicier, the Emulator is another monster infamous for ruining a hunter's day. Damaging them in any way that isn't the equivalent of punching them in the face will make these guys go up in flames, burning everything in their surrounding area, meaning that there are not many options to safely deal with them. Knuckle dusters, the knuckle knife, and choke clouds are effective ways to take them out, but did you know that as of recently, penny shot ammo also won't ignite Emulators? Sure, it's loud, but as long as you're close, it will kill them with a single shot, meaning that a penny shot Derringer can sometimes save you a ton of trouble if you struggle with Emulators. Poison ammo used to function this way, but as of earlier this year, Emulators are now immune to poison, making penny shot the new best pseudo-fire extinguisher. Another interesting, if situational, way to deal with Emulators is to bring them into deep water. If an Emulator is standing in any water that is deep enough to slow you down, any damage that would usually explode them simply won't. It's a lot less useful in practice as Emulators tend to spawn away from deep bodies of water, but it is a fun little trick you can use to impress your friends and leave them scratching their head as to how you're not getting deep fried from stabbing an Emulator. But watch out, because even if the water protects you from Emulators, you're not safe from the water devils that lurk in the shallows. These things do a lot of damage and can make certain waterways basically impassable. But they can be killed, kind of. If you kill one, all surrounding water devils will also die with it, but they'll respawn after about 10 seconds, so once you get rid of them, make sure that you cross that river quick before they come back and get their revenge. Shotguns can safely take out water devils in a single blast, but high damage melee weapons like the bomb lance can also wipe them in a single hit. It's just a little bit riskier, so mind your toes. Going from worms to leeches, let's talk a bit about the blind brute of the bayou, the Meathead. While incredibly tanky, it is often worth taking them out because they have a pretty decent chance to drop a random trait spur on death. These spurs can also be burn or scarce traits too, meaning that sometimes you can just pull Death Cheat or Shadow Leap out of nowhere. Some of the best ways to quickly farm Meatheads are the ever-reliable penny shot ammo, poison ammo, and explosives like dynamite, sticky bombs, or red barrels. But throwing knives are also an amazing and silent way to deal with Meatheads too. Just chuck as many as you can at their upper torso, and then the damage dealt from ripping them all out is usually enough to bring them down. Just watch out though, because Meatheads sometimes take a final swing at you on their way down. Did you know that there are also two different Meathead variants? The difference is subtle, but one has a meat hook for a weapon and the other has a large blade. The bladed variants are much more dangerous as they do increase damage and also inflict bleed, while the hook variant does not. A minor difference, but one to take note of if you're feeling brave and want to challenge a Meathead to a knife fight. And one last bonus one for watching this far into the video, did you know that AI likes music? But that's it. 10, technically 11, fun facts and tips about Hunt Showdown's AI monsters. Again, if you want to see me do more of these kinds of videos, whether it be another one about AI, or maybe another topic like bosses, weapons, or compounds, let me know in the comments down below. Have a lovely rest of your day, and thanks for watching.